Welcome to the Lockdown Economy, a series of interviews by the think tank AlterContacts, where the real entrepreneurs share their insights. My name is Yulia Skupchenko, and today my guest is Fabrizio Faraco, the founder of InSprint. Hello, Fabrizio. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm in Rome. The weather is really beautiful. I've been very lucky yesterday. I was in Puglia, just too close to the seaside, and I just have the nice lunch with a friend of mine on the seaside, having fresh fish, just something amazing.
That sounds
I want
really
to share
wonderful.
because it's really wonderful, especially after some months we have been locked in.
Oh yes, absolutely. And the way you described it, I'm just already daydreaming of going somewhere like that. But today we're going to talk about your business and the lockdown effect. Tell me, what is InSprint?
InSprint is a company devoted to helping customers to have success in autonomy. That's our trust. We want to make people and companies successful, but we want to be, in a sort of sense, not relevant for their success, trying to teach them or facilitate them to really become successful. We use mainly workshop as a way to succeed. And obviously we use different type of methodology, design sprint, design thinking, Lego serious play, lean startup. That's quite important because our credo is the business agility.
All right. So if I understand correctly, you come to another company and you teach them through a series of methods about how to get to where they want to get.
Yeah,
is that right?
We normally start from what our client feel is a need. Then from the need, we try to understand which is the real impact they want to have. And then from the goal of this impact, we design a series of workshops, a sort of path that allow them to actually get the results, get the impact, but also learn how to do it and how they have to probably change a little bit into their mindset.
And what I heard from you previously is that you want to give them an autonomy to really achieve it by themselves, so they don't need to go to you every time.
No, absolutely. Our success, maybe they call us back because they want to scale up, but not because we have to do and repeat everything. Well, obviously we can consult, we can train, but what we really love to do is to facilitate them, make the solution emerge inside them.
Well, that's very interesting to hear. And tell me, how was your business before the lockdown? How was it going?
InSprint was founded in February 2019. And in 1 year, we just boom. To tell you frankly, in January and February, we had mainly 1 or 2 workshops per day, and we were only 2, me and Andrea Romoli. And most of our work is on presence, physically, face-to-face. So when the lockdown arrived, actually we were in Milan, the 22nd of February, when we had patient 1 in Italy, and was one of the biggest boom in all Europe, because until that time only China experienced such a pandemic situation. And it was tough because we realized immediately that day we were there for a workshop, an international workshop, that most of our work, and probably the first, at that time we thought the first quarter of our revenues, but then we realized that our first half of the year revenues was completely canceled. So from success to zero.
Yeah, that is really, really tough. And I think it was a situation for many people whose life depended on in-person activities. And tell me what, I would ask you how you felt, but I think that's more or less obvious, but tell me from a business point of view, what was your reaction? How did you want to address the situation and what did you do?
I was lucky because just the 23rd of February, I left for Dubai for doing design sprint certification for some companies entrepreneur in Dubai. So that was good because it gave me the time to think about and trying to strategize and to see the thing from a different perspective. I mean, probably if I would have been in Italy, I would have been just overwhelmed by the panic wave that was all over the country. So that's allowed me to just relax and think, okay, we are good in facing crisis. We help companies to make it. So be the doctor of ourselves, which doesn't really sometimes work. And in the past, I did different, several hybrid or online workshop. One even very big with a very huge company like IBM. So my idea was, okay, let's try to go online, but not to teach something like in a webinar, trying to make people collaborate and do workshop at the same time. So coming back from Dubai, with Andrea, we crafted our first interactive workshop. We did it as an MVP. We decided, okay, let's see if people understand this kind of format. And then it was pretty successful. And then we do a second MVP. Let's see if people are going to pay for this format. And that's worked again. So we did a series of interactive workshops for free to make people understand, a series of paying workshops when we have very sophisticated technique. And we also try to convince colleagues and competitors to move into the interactive workshop. And we are pretty happy because few of them are now successful in doing interactive workshop. So we didn't actually recover the old revenues, to be frank, but at least we get new source of revenues, an offering which is not going to, it was designed during the lockdown, but is not only for the lockdown. Now it's part of our offering, and we are going to have this kind of offering as a part of our solution, even in face-to-face. And by the way, in Puglia, I was at my first face-to-face workshop in the last 3 days.
Oh, congratulations on that. And it sounds like you really made a comeback from a point of a dip at the beginning when Italy was one of the first countries to announce the lockdown. And it is pretty lucky that you had an opportunity to go somewhere else where it was not as crazy as in Italy, and there was not so much panic yet. So tell me now, with this workshop that you had in Puglia, how is it going now? What is the business doing right now?
Okay, there is obviously some uncertainties. It's not just like before, but you have to be prepared. You have to think ahead and trying to be ready for an uncertain future. And this is not only in sprint problem, this is probably a general problem. And obviously, all the entrepreneurs are now very busy into making everything done in order to recover the situation. So they're very focused on the business as usual, production, delivery, and they have very few time to focus on new uncertainties, new scenario that can come up, how to get new market, taking opportunities, because beyond any shakeout, there is huge opportunities. So it's really an untapped situation. because entrepreneurs need to do that, but they don't have time to do this. So that's where, as in Sprint, we can really help them in overcome or manage this period. So we now have our business as usual offering. At the middle of September, we're going to have our Design Sprint certification face-to-face 2 days bootcamp, as we did it in the last year. We are going to launch online strategy strings that allow entrepreneurs. It's a series of interactive workshops that allow an entrepreneur to go from where they are now, how to manage an uncertain future. And it's going to be online because entrepreneurs couldn't really move from their plant. And we also have some hybrid one. We do something online and something offline. And this, in particular, we are focusing on how we can strategize while we have to work on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, we're probably going to have next year, if you're lucky, at the same level of last year, when we, in the first 2 months, we did already the 50% of our last year revenue. So we were really scaling up. And there's one situation that we feel it's quite important, that I feel it's quite important. What COVID and lockdown economy teach to all the companies is that now, in order to make people move, you really need to be effective. So either it's something that it's really needed, or it's not something that really will made up some tangible, significant results, or the company will go again for remote collaboration. So for a company like us, the market is completely changed, because we need to prove ourselves that we can be effective, and we can only make companies to actually move people only if the results are really significant and effective. And that's just a big challenge for all facilitators all around the world.
Yes, indeed. And you mentioned a few things that I wanted to jump in and ask questions, but I think I'll focus on one specifically interesting. You mentioned that entrepreneurs are busy in delivery and production, so they're not really looking at what opportunities this crisis brought.
Yeah.
But they're still in the mode, let's get back to normal. How was it for your own company? So what did you do internally to identify what are your own opportunities?
Okay. When I was in Dubai and the first period, we really focus on our identity. We go back into our why we're doing what we're doing. And it's what I suggest everybody should do, and understand beyond the product, beyond the service, beyond the client, the real reason to be on the business. Then on that, trying to come up with some scenarios, not in order to forecast the future, but in order to understand which are robust strategies that are good no matter what kind of scenario is going to be happen, or specific strategies that you need to do, when a specific scenario is going to happen. Okay, and that's allow you to understand better your organization, your production, your product. And it's obviously is not something that you do once. It's a process. It's not important the strategies. The most important thing is strategizing ahead. That's the point. So what we did, it's what we suggest. Strategizing. For us, it's business as usual. For imagine a small company in Italy that is producing, for example, production line for food process. They have to deliver the production line to their client, and so they don't have time to think about how many companies I'm going to have it in my backlog, how many new markets I can enter into it. Because obviously maybe they never went into Germany, because in Germany there is a strong competitor. But after the shakeout, the strong competitor is still in a weak position. So maybe it's the right time to go and give and get into Germany with our production, because maybe our product is better, or it's more flexible, or it's scalable. Okay, so understanding better my business allow me to take opportunity that maybe seems in this particular period like dreams, but they're very typical. I want to just tell you one thing. I arrived some years ago in a small island in the Caribbean. After that, the troop of United States liberated the island. And I arrived with a group of small Italian entrepreneur devoted to tourism. So I see how the shakeout produced enormous opportunity. We got a beach lease for $70 US per year. Then we bought it for $150 US, and we sell it for $3 million. Okay, obviously it took 10 years to do the whole process. But if you arrive in a place that is already stabilized, you're going to pay the $3 million, not the 150. So sometimes the shakeout is a good way to get and get really good money. But you have to be courageous. You have to have a strategy, and you have not to plan the future, because nobody knows about the future, but to know how you could react in front of the different situation. Or as we say, you iterate. You go step by step and be ready to change the path based on the situation that you have faced.
I think that's just a great mini masterclass in a very short time. But the story is brilliant, because it really shows how many opportunities are out there. And if anyone who is watching us has questions to Fabrizio about the steps that he mentioned at the beginning about why you are doing what you're doing and strategizing and other things, I encourage you to reach out to him. And thank you very much, Fabrizio, for sharing this story with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to add one thing. Obviously, in this particular moment, a company of two people, even if we have a very good network, sometimes is not alone. So we team up with a series of companies all around the world, which are under a label of Trivium International, which are just devoted to allow companies to take opportunities from this shakeout, just strategizing ahead. And since we are going to use Lego Serious Play as one of the key methodology, the whole program is called Play Ahead, meaning play as a way to get really a good strategizing and very deep, and ahead because you won't have time to react to a new crisis. You have to play in advance.
Excellent. Thank you, Fabrizio. And I'm sure the details of this program will be in the description below the video. So will be the contacts of Fabrizio. So I encourage again everyone to reach out and look into it. And if you heard something interesting, then it's a good opportunity to have a contact. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. I invite you to like this video, share it with your friends, leave comments, what you liked, what interested you the most, and subscribe to our channel, of course. In the coming weeks, we're going to have many more insights to share with you. So stay tuned. and bye.